Later in the show, we'll update the list. And if you don't know what the list is, you're about to find out. And of course, we'll discuss all this week's storylines and we'll make some bets and maybe pay out some bets. But first... Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug and the only LAFC podcast that is going to Atlanta in 2 weeks, but mainly to go to Magic City. I'm Travis Helwig.
I'm Vince LaRosa.
And I'm Darren Miller. Welcome to our preview episode of LAFC's MLS match versus Sporting Kansas City on Sunday, June 8th at 6 p.m. at BMO Stadium. You can watch it on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV+. And our live post-game call-in show will start 10 minutes after the final whistle at youtube.com/@HappyFootSadFoot. The dress code for the live stream is our brand new merch available over at happyfootsadfootpod.com, except for our sold out limited edition patron only scarf, but tons more over on our website. And if you're a Patreon member, you get a 15% discount.
Later in the show, we'll update the list. And if you don't know what the list is, you're about to find out. And of course, we'll discuss all this week's storylines and we'll make some bets and maybe pay out some bets. But first, it's time for what the people demand. It's time for listener-mandated banter. Well, that's enough banter.
Yeah. I think we did a good job.
It is the only thing in the show we don't prep, and it probably would be good if we were like, what should we banter about at the top?
But that's
we
cheating,
could do
no?
like an agenda.
Yeah, but there's other parts of the show we cheat that we don't need to tell people about.
Listeners should... Hey,
Just did.
damn it.
I don't even
Listeners
know
should
you're
send us
referring
like
to,
we should get topics from listeners.
Yeah.
And also,
user-submitted banter topics?
yeah. So the
Like
just
your
in case.
mailbag.
Just in
that
case.
guy on Twitter, his daughter found a list of things that he wants to talk to his friends with at Starbucks that week. It's like he's retired
God.
and he meets his old
Oh,
retired
I saw
friends
this.
at Starbucks.
It's actually great.
And every week he makes a list of the itinerary of what they're going to discuss at Starbucks.
That's really funny.
That's what we got.
Such a
to
main
look forward,
character on
boys.
Twitter thing.
Yeah, it does feel like you found your shrimp tails
Yeah.
in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
This might be me. I just drove home from work very recently and had a very lose faith in humanity moment on my drive.
Oh,
Spill.
interesting. Bring us into the depths of your hell, Darren.
Yeah, sure. I was just it was a very tricky intersection where I was at a stop sign and had to turn left. It's like where the off ramp from, I forget which freeway merges with Cahuenga, right where it kind of turns north of Highland, I want to say, or I don't know, north of the Hollywood Bowl.
I'm already glazing over. Just
it doesn't
going.
matter where exactly it is, but it's a very tricky spot. I had to turn left and it was really hard. And the guy behind me, I made sure, because I'm always maybe they're, I don't fucking know, on the way to the hospital. I always find some dumb reason why to justify someone else's shitty behavior on the road. But I looked around, I was like, is there any possible way I could be doing something wrong? And I was sure there was not. And they just would not stop honking at me, leaning on it, over and over again. Just pure cruelty at a certain point. To the point where the person behind them was honking. And it's I don't know if you're honking at the person behind me or just joining them and honking at me. And what they were asking me to do was just drive into other cars. There were just cars just straight up right in front of me. And I was just
Can I ask you a question? Were you taking a left on a major intersection that doesn't have a light?
Yes.
Okay, you were doing something wrong.
What was I doing?
You were taking a left on a major intersection that doesn't have a light.
Is that not allowed?
It's allowed, but don't do it. Find the intersection with the light. Were they also going left?
Holding them
It
up?
was a bad strategy, yeah.
Were they also going left, though? Because they were telling you to go right.
Yeah, they were trying to go right, but it was a really small street. There was no way to do the thing that I normally do, which is to do the courteous thing, which is move over to the left and make it so they can go to your right and go right. But there was
they were telling
there was
you
no space to do
take
that.
a right instead and then turn around that way.
There was no feasible way to do, not even
I
didn't
take
want
a right,
to. There was no
and then
way
you
to
take
do
your
that.
next left, and then you take another left, and then you could turn right onto the street you were trying to go left on.
Yeah, but it was at the intersection of Cahuenga where it goes. That was not an option.
It's always an option. It's always an option. See, I was the guy behind you, Darren, and
honestly, my actual point of view on this is like there is absolutely no situation where it's okay to do what the person did. Like I don't care if I was doing something absolutely terrible and wrong 100%. And breaking that's just a shitty person thing to do, and like deal with it. Someone's doing something that makes your day 3 minutes harder. Like deal with it. Like you being an asshole on your fucking horn doesn't make your life any better. Like what it made me do was like out of stress, I inched out and almost died. Like that's what had happened to me.
It is funny. Like
I was like, I'm going to try my best to accommodate you, even though it is a life-threatening situation for me to do so.
Okay, so I've made a diagram of what you should have done.
Hold it closer to the camera.
Turn right, take the next left, and then I guess just U-turn and then go back onto that street.
No U-turn. So you were trying to cross.
It's not a grid system in LA, Travis. I couldn't take another left and get to where I'm trying to go.
Roughly they are. You take instead of taking this left, you have to cross the traffic, right? And anyone watching on YouTube, which is most of our people, can see what I'm doing. Instead of taking this left, right?
Hopefully
take a right
here. Enough internet for it.
You take a right here, and then you take a left here, then you take a left here, then you take a left here, and then you take a right and keep going in the same direction.
Yes, I understand that. That unless I'm mistaken about how the map is configured in that particular intersection, that would not have been possible.
It's always possible. There's always another road.
What do you mean? No, it doesn't always connect.
Yeah, it does.
What? No, I'm going up to the Cahuenga where it goes along the 101, like across
it's like
the
in
hills.
the hills. It's in the hills. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of. So I shouldn't have glazed over.
I was going north.
It was the part where I glazed over.
Yeah.
Draw a new diagram. I need to see.
You can glaze over and then not have some things to say that's specific about the map layout.
This is where I wish we really had one of those telestrator systems that we could just use on the podcast.
I'll say this. When I will honk furiously at a Waymo. Because the Waymos
that's
always
like a good
But does it do something? Like
no,
does the Waymo register it?
But I'm taking my frustration out on the fact that they exist. But the Waymos use the Waze directions, which are always telling them to take lefts across insanely busy intersections.
Oh, sure.
And ones without lights because they're technically faster by a robot's perspective, but is not faster in any sort of tangible way. And so it's always just cutting across traffic. And so I wish if you see a Waymo, you should be allowed to Molotov cocktail it.
Oh, that's different than honking. I was so ready to be like exactly 100% agree, and you didn't say honking.
Is Waymo and Samo like cousins?
Samo? What's Samo?
And isn't Samo those little
is Samo the motorized delivery guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
are they like cousins?
Probably, yeah.
It's cute.
Samo. Well, that's when someone says something interesting, you go, Samo.
Samo. Or less interesting. Because usually when something interesting, you say
pick
less.
Up.
Yeah. Darren's going to flag
that. Damn, that's cold.
I'm sorry you got honked at, Darren. I shouldn't have been doing that.
It was you.
Was it a Cybertruck? Yeah, it was.
It was a Cybertruck that almost hit me when I tried to
with an American flag wrap.
Yeah.
What's nice is if you got hit by the Cybertruck, they would have died. You would have been fine.
Because it's all like tinfoil. I saw a Cybertruck the other day that was 2 decals. You know how it was like the Elon with the line through it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 2 of them. One of them was the Elon with the line through it, and another one was a sticker that says like, I drive this in shame now. And I was like, it's a Cybertruck.
That you didn't before?
What happened?
Yeah.
What was the situation before?
Yeah,
right.
When the Cybertruck was announced, we already knew he was bad, right? It wasn't this. It isn't just the Trump thing. Elon's been bad for a bit. And like other Teslas, you can sort of get away with because you can't tell when someone bought them and they are like somewhat nicer cars. But like the Cybertruck exclusively, you bought it when everyone, just you didn't know if you think he wasn't bad.
Right. And even if it's not Elon Musk, like
even if you didn't,
just the shape of the truck alone.
Yeah, you didn't
like,
know that he existed and you bought that. You made a mistake.
Yeah. I thought that they were cool when they first like showed the images of them, right? Like I was like, I like that someone's taking a risk with a car because all cars sort of look the same. And then when they showed what they actually look like what they were designed to look like and what they actually look like are very different. Like in real life, they look so shitty. If
it wasn't Elon and they were designed well, and it was that shape, and it was just like completely out there and ridiculous and like not even necessarily good, but like a really well done and a really good car, I'd be behind it. I think I'd be like, yeah, I like that those exist in the world. I'm okay with it.
I love videos of them like stuck in the mud, and like you watch like a Toyota Corolla like easily get out of the situation, but
it's such a funny phenomenon because it's like a group of people who own those cars that are also particularly hellbent on like publicly proving how great they are.
Yes. Oh yeah, the videos like a couple months ago where people were like, "Look at all the stuff I can put in the back. Do that in your truck," and then people were like, "Okay." It was like,
yeah, my car also has a trunk. But
yeah, it's like versions of Cobby where it was just like a bunch of people going, "Okay," and then doing the same thing and going,
"It's Cobby lame." Yeah, it's all just exacerbated versions of what the demonstration of it was, which is like Elon Musk being like, "Look, it's impossible to penetrate this glass," and broke it in the demonstration announcing the truck.
Did you see that he had a black eye, and the rumor is that he was punched by
Stephen Miller?
Stephen Miller because he cucked Stephen Miller.
It was Besser.
But there's another rumor that Besser was the cover, and the secret rumor is that
I could actually see Besser doing it. He's kind of a big dude.
I think the Besser thing is more likely because they did get into screaming matches, but there was a rumor that he was fucking Stephen Miller's wife, and Stephen Miller punched him. But now his wife is leaving the White House as well to go work with Elon. So there's some Washington rumors about him fucking Stephen Miller's wife, and that doesn't sound like Elon, if you ask me.
I just couldn't imagine Stephen Miller actually being able to throw a punch.
That's true.
Or.
Yeah. If you're going to be a guy who like believes in a master race, you better not look like that, right?
Yes. Because you're not part of it. Like, come on, bro.
Whatever you are,
there's like
not
eugenics
better
involved.
Than others.
You're trying to back this up with science, aren't you?
Yeah. This is like a really weird Dr. Seuss book, and you clearly are not part of the Sneetches or whatever it was.
Like, we all know you're wrong immediately, but you're also wrong on appearances alone, which is all you would have had to go off of.
Yeah, like you have an argument. Well, you don't have an argument, but you at least like you present like that guy who eats all the meat in the woods. You know what I'm talking about? The really strong man. If that guy was like,
there's like a whole documentary on that guy.
I would be like, sure, man, you can believe that, I guess. But Stephen Miller can't.
He's literally, Darren, he's ripped. He's like the color of a hot dog. He has a beard, doesn't wear a shirt, and just like just takes like raw meat and eats it. And he's like, this is all I eat.
Kind of looks like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes, but like even more extreme, if you can imagine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we had plenty of banter. We should save some of these for future episodes.
Why are they wearing different clothes? That doesn't matter.
Well, let's start our show, huh?
Okay. Well, as the more casually obsessed LAFC fan on the show, I love LAFC and I'll never miss a match, but I don't have time to stay on top of all the advanced stats, roster moves, rumors, tactics, and off-the-field drama that I can't get from just watching the matches, when all I see watching a match is ball get kicked, ball go in net, Frenchman flip, club get $10 million. Luckily, my friends Travis, the human LAFC crazy wall, and Vince, the LAFC patron saint of tactics, are here to catch me up every week on the most important storylines that live beneath the surface of every match so we can all enjoy them so much more in a segment we call Storylines.
I was just thinking, you know how the Seattle Sounders all wore that like Club World Cup cash grab thing? We should have also worn that. We should be asking for our cut.
Yeah, where's our cut? That's t-shirt. So funny.
Yeah. That's a great t-shirt. Where's our cut? Yeah.
Cash grab cup. What about the fans?
Yeah, what about the podcast hosts? Who will think of the podcast hosts? Darren, Vince, Dince. I come to you still hungover from our 3-hour Club World Cup live stream to bring you this week's storylines. And the first one is this. Just how much do we have to give a shit about the regular season now? In the blink of an eye, our summer has gotten a lot more interesting as fans of LAFC. While 27 other clubs have to settle for regular season matches against real places named Charlotte and Cincinnati, and yes, this is real, Columbus, we get to focus our attention on playing teams from real places like London and Rio de Janeiro and fucking Tunis, Tunisia. So while these other clubs are thinking about the pathetic cash grab Leagues Cup, we get to think about the pure and ethical FIFA Club World Cup. All hail our fearless leader, Giovanni Infantino. We love you so much, sir. We think of you in such high regard. Whatever you need, we are happy to provide. Vince.
Come on the pod, Giovanni.
Oh, God.
You don't need to. You don't need to. Just let us know what you want us to say. Tell us what you want us to say and slip a little check under each of our doors. Happy to do it. Happy to do it, Gianni. Vince, we're going to talk about the roster rules in a little bit, but how do you think the club is going to handle the regular season and Leagues Cup this summer now that we are in the Club World Cup, considering that every group stage win is worth $2 million, every group stage draw is worth $1 million, and going to the round of 16 is worth $7.5 million?
Holy shit.
Well, publicly, they will say that they are trying to win every single game, and that every game matters.
Right.
Especially Sporting Kansas City.
Well, as much as we can laugh about it, but like keep in mind, remember they did go to the CONCACAF Champions League final while still keeping up with the regular season. So like there's precedence for this. That being said, this is unheard of, like what we're doing, what LAFC is doing, what the Seattle Sounders are doing, what Inter Miami is doing. And we all know that there's a million playoff places. So it's like, I mean, this weekend, I think the team will be, as you would expect. It's a home game, especially. You're going to want to win all your home games, and it's a very winnable home game. But going the week, the game just prior to going into that, I would imagine there's going to be some thoughts and choices. That's what they'll say. We'll look at the squad. We'll see who's healthy, and we'll put the best team out there for the moment, which is basically saying if some guy is just feeling even slightly off, he will not even come close to touching the field. But yeah, I mean, the regular season, the thing is, because yes, it's going to be a pile up of games. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised now if this means that actually Leagues Cup is more like, who cares? Yeah. This is the real money maker. Yeah. So I kind of push back a little bit on. I think regular season they'll still take very seriously because you get in the playoffs, chance to win MLS Cup. Leagues Cup, do you care? I mean, you have all the home games, I guess. So by that fact, they'll feel good about that. But
yeah, so I just looked it up. The winning team of the Leagues Cup wins $2 million. So if you win one of our Club World Cup games, it's the equivalent financially for the club of winning the entire Leagues Cup.
Wow. How many Leagues Cups is that total?
And like how many more Leagues Cups are there going to be? Like they keep changing the what it's like every year. Just if like you're just from the perspective of like the kind of glory perspective. Like if you're an MLS player, like, yeah, I could win this, and people go, "Oh, you won one of those? How many did they do? Oh, they did 5." Like you're still going to want to win MLS Cup, and I think it still matters to players.
Yeah, Darren, the fan base hasn't been super happy with the club's performance this season overall. But as Vince brought up, and as you know, there's 8 playoff spots in each conference. Do you think if LAFC starts to drop a little bit in the table as we focus on this other tournament, how do you think the fans will react to that?
It'll be a mixed bag, I think, but I think we're in a good spot in that we have, in a few weeks, we'll know how we fare in group stage for Club World Cup. Like it's going to happen pretty quickly. It's not like hanging over our heads.
Yeah.
So we'll either advance to the round of 16 or not. And then there's only so much we can drop in that time. And then we work our way back. And I think we're in a situation where like Dolo's already leaving at the end of the season. So the tenor that frustration would probably take the form of like, let's get rid of the coach. That's already happening. Like, I don't know. It feels like a low enough ceiling for how frustrated people could get.
I'm really curious what the fan reaction is going to be in general around the Club World Cup, because I think you ask any normal person, you're like, we're probably going to finish 3rd. But we could finish probably 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. I don't think anyone thinks we're going to win our group, right? I don't know anything about the Tunisian team. I think everyone's just assuming we can beat them. Who knows? Like I haven't done any research into them yet.
What he means to say is we'll have a full preview of the Club World Cup next week. Experts weigh in. We are the experts.
I can't wait for Vince. I can't wait for Vince to do the deep dive on The Tunisian team. Yeah, Vince, how do we match up against them?
Don't you dare.
But I'm curious, like, there's a contingent of fan, and we've talked about it before, that seems to like being unhappy, right? And so I think most people are like, I might go to the Atlanta game. I don't know yet. Like, if I do, I'm going full well knowing we're going to lose to Chelsea. And if all they could do is surprise me, right? I'm like, I'm not going there because we're going to win. I'm going there because it's a cool experience to play against Chelsea. I'm curious what the fans will think if we lose against Flamengo or we lose against the Tunisian team. Like, will it make the Denny Bouanga incredible game feel less sweet to people? I don't think I think people are maybe hoping we get round of 16, but I think most people are assuming we're out in the group stage, right? Or are we the only ones who don't have blind faith around the club?
I think that the games are going to be a lot closer than you think, all of them, even against Chelsea, probably. Actually, having Chelsea first might be the best thing. It kind of lets you know like where you're at. Look, if you get even a draw against Chelsea, you're like, oh, wow, we have a real chance to go through the next round. Mm-hmm. I would say to fans, and you can listen to me or not, I really want to see them compete. And I'm not saying like, oh, it doesn't matter what happens, but I want them to be hanging games. I want them to have chances to win. Look, every game starts 0-0. There's 90 minutes. The game is low scoring in general. Like, if they play Chelsea and it's 1-0 until the 90th minute and LAFC gets a chance and then it turns around and Chelsea puts the second one in and they win 2-0, I'll think of that as somewhat of a moral victory, to be honest. Like, to keep 1-0 against a team as talented as Chelsea, a team that is going to be playing in the Champions League next year, like that's pretty incredible. I think when you go against a Brazilian team, the Brazilian league, in terms of like high end quality, is probably better than MLS. But across the entire league, I mean, first of all, there's no entire league. Brazil's a ginormous country and they all play like kind of these regional competitions. But generally the Brazilian teams, like, I don't think the gap is quite as big as people think. I think they have a lot of really raw talent and young talent that eventually goes on to other places and then they become the household names that we know of. But they're young and raw talent and they play a game of like, it's a really physical game, it's a passionate game, and it's based on skill, but that doesn't mean you can't beat them. Like, I think there is a world in which they do beat that team, and then the Tunis team we know is going to come top of the group. So come on. I mean,
I was talking to my friend. I have a couple friends that live in London, and I was talking to them about the game. I've been to Europe, and they were saying there's a world in which Chelsea comes out really flat because, one, they don't care about this tournament. Like, personally, this is usually their off season, right? Even if their ownership group does, they're probably a little bit upset that they have to do this. Two, Atlanta happens to be the strip club capital of the United States.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing 3 p.m. in the middle of the day in the summer, which in Atlanta, I looked it up, is over the 80s in average at the end, mid-June, is over 80s and humid. So while LAFC isn't good in weather, a British team certainly is not good in 80 to 90 degree heat and humidity, right? That's not something that they're used to playing in.
But it's indoor stadium.
Oh, is it indoor?
Yeah, it's Atlanta United Stadium, no?
But it has the roof opens. The roof opens.
Yeah, the roof opens, but it's pretty much indoor.
Oh, I thought they usually play with it open, no?
I mean, they can.
Oh, I've never been. I think they can control it.
I think they can control the temperature a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys heard that they can control the weather?
Who's they, Darren?
Yeah, who's
the
they?
People, the government.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
They can control the weather.
Good cover. Whose government?
What? The people in power. You don't want to ask too many questions because these people are doing crazy things with clouds.
I'm looking at Mercedes-Benz Stadium open roof.
No, I know they can open the roof, but I'm just saying.
But do they normally have it closed, or do they normally have it open?
But even if you could, it's just like a skylight, no? So they open that, you could still probably air condition the.
Oh, interesting. So they really hate the environment, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Well, it was mostly built for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, well then we got to really hope for the strip club part because I was really working on the weather.
Here is another one though. They did win a trophy at the end of the season. They won a continental competition. They won the Conference League. To your point about being flat, like they played extra games. Like they're coming off of winning that. Are they really going to be up for something else? They're like, look, we just did that and we got into the Champions League. Like, do we care that much? Yeah. It's interesting. And then just in general, like Chelsea is over the last couple of years, like they do like 50 transfers a year. Who knows who's going to be on that team? Like will they even have met each other by then? Like, yeah. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with them? All I know is
they're on the field with name tags on.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk more about them when we get closer, but they're incredibly individually talented team that is a kind of a mismatch of parts. So yes, they could play games in which they could absolutely smack LAFC, and they could have other games when you watch them and you're like, these guys are dog shit. Like, how did they even make the Champions League?
Look, people have been talking about it for years. We'll finally get to learn who's better, Cole Palmer or Eddie Segura. And that brings us to our second storyline of the week. And it's this. Have we seen the last of Cengiz Ünder? As everyone knows by now, our designated player, Turkish golden boy Cengiz Ünder, was on a 6-month loan from Fenerbahce, where they had a purchase option of around $25 million. For those of you who don't know, that means basically at the end of the loan, we can decide if we want to pay for that to keep him. You can usually negotiate, as Vince has gone over a bunch of times. We've actually spent a lot of episodes talking about Cengiz's contract. And while Ünder, most of us agree, was good, I think we all thought that $25 million price was insane. From the get-go, we thought that was never going to get paid. And that includes the nice man I met from Fenerbahce's Congress while hammered in New York. He also didn't think we were going to pay the $25 million. An update to that story, another Discord member got followed by a different member of Fenerbahce's Congress and DM'd him saying, sorry that we will probably not going to buy Ünder. And the guy replied, it's okay, he's a shit player anyway. So to add insult to injury, Ünder got injured during the Club America match. And according to Turkish media reports over the last couple days that were surfaced to me by LAFC Daniel on Twitter, we will not be exercising his purchase option and he will be returning to Turkey. We don't know exactly when that is. It could be soon. It could be later. Vince, what do you know about this? How does it normally work in terms of not exercising that option? Are we going to keep him around? And if we open that DP slot, we have this weird 10-day special window for signing players for the Club World Cup. We're currently in that window. How likely is it, do you think, because everyone's talking about replacing a DP, how likely is it that we sign a DP level player before our match in less than 2 weeks? And what else should we know about like the FIFA roster rules versus the MLS roster rules?
Yeah, there's a lot to process here and a lot of different ways LAFC could go. One would be kind of the straightforward way, and then we'll talk about the way that I think maybe a team could pull something off, but I don't know necessarily if these rules fit, but it just seems like something that could happen, although it might piss off MLS a lot. First of all, with Ünder, when you loan a player, a lot of these details are hammered out at the time of the loan. So whether or not you can send them back early, whether or not the club themselves can call the player back early. We talk about obligation to buy, which we said there was none here. There was just this kind of, okay, yeah, we think if you're going to want them, we're going to probably want this amount of money, which makes me think, well, we've already talked about it. It's just that's the money they thought they could get back because they've already paid so much. So as we're seeing these rumors floating that he's going back, and obviously now that he's injured, part of me thinks that it could just be that everyone knows that there's this special window from June 1st to the 10th in which teams can sign other players. Could that be floated by his team, knowing that he's probably going to be coming back and, hey, he's available, guys. He's in LA now, but he's going to be available. More than likely, I think maybe it means that LAFC's already let Fenerbahce know, hey, it's not going to happen. We're going to be sending him back. And they've probably already started the negotiation. If they don't already know, is there a chance we can end it early because we have this window in which, as I was saying, there's a straightforward way to do it. Within the window, if Cengiz Ünder's contract is over and he is in fact going back to Fenerbahce, LAFC will have an open DP slot. They can fill the player in, and then under the rules that MLS stipulated, if you can fit a player in, you can sign them now and you can have them on your roster earlier than everyone else. Mostly because you'll be playing in this special competition. But when you come back, you can still have that player as long as they fit into your roster. And that would be ahead of the secondary window, which is July 24th. So the tournament would be well over by then, right? I think, though, the other way is, and to your point, Travis, FIFA does not care about these roster designations. They have opened this special window only because most players' contracts in Europe are ending June 30th. Because the window is going to open July 1st. So even those European teams technically could not sign players, the ones that are in this competition. So FIFA had to make a special designation, even for those European teams, but they don't have to care about slots, designated players, under 23 players. Like, for example, everyone knows that Trent Alexander-Arnold, his contract is ending for Liverpool. He is going to Real Madrid. He's already said, I'm going as a free agent to Real Madrid. I'm done at Liverpool. Well, his Liverpool contract runs until June 30th. He will be allowed to play for Real Madrid. Basically, Liverpool's like, yeah, we get it. You're not staying here anyways. FIFA says that's fine. You can go and your contract can start early. You can end this one. It can start early. I think there's a world in which an MLS team could say, okay, we don't have a spot, i.e. LAFC. And we won't have one until Cengiz Ünder's contract ends probably, or his loan ends. I believed it does end the 30th of June.
I remember that being the case. But
yeah, that seemed like the number, although a lot of times it's weird that that's actually reported, but it seemed like that was the case. They might say, well, for the fine MLS, you don't want us to sign a player, and that's okay. But what if we're not registering him for MLS? And we sign him and we register him for this tournament, which does not care. And he plays in this tournament. And then MLS says, and Darren, this is kind of to a point that you and I have talked about on text. No good player is going to come play for 2 weeks, knowing that he's not going to have somewhere else to go. Because you do your ACL, what an idiot. You played for 2 weeks, you just lost maybe 5-10 years of your career. But if you're an MLS team and you say, okay, we're going to do this, and MLS goes, well, you don't have the space. They go, that's fine. We'll just wait till July 24th. So homeboy can sit with us, and he can even probably train with the team in that whole period. And then the minute that opens, you register him, you get his international transfer certificate, you do the whole thing. Now, that one thing that I didn't think about until a couple hours ago was you do have to also negotiate with the team. So I guess the one little sticking point might be you get the player, you tell the team, okay, yes, we're going to buy him. By the way, we don't have a slot for him, but when our window opens, we'll definitely get that transfer certificate from you. Done deal. We got this. We're done. Player gets injured. Then what happens? That other teams, what recourse do they have? So would they be reticent to be like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that, knowing that you could screw us on this deal. But again, I don't know if this is totally, I don't know what, I'm sure MLS, well, actually, I'm not sure because we've talked to Tom Bogert and MLS is giving teams very little information. So
maybe
maybe
they haven't thought about it at all, right?
Yeah, they haven't thought about
it.
And maybe by me putting this out here, now MLS is going to have to call up John Thornton and go, oh, hey, we listened to that podcast and don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I was going to say.
And John's going to go, I would never listen to a fucking word that Vince LaRosa would say. But now that you mention it.
That sounds like him.
What if we wanted to bring in so I don't know.
Well, I was saying let's put this out as a clip and hopefully someone in the front office sees it. Darren Ünder, who we now know, whether he's gone, whether he never plays again, whether we see him one or two more times or whatever, Ünder has had 2 goals on the season, the same amount as Delgado and our boy Olivier Giroud. He also has 2 assists, the same as Nathan Ordaz. If Chenger has played his last match for LAFC...
I wish we called him that.
Chenger?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Chenger.
If Cengiz has played his last match for LAFC, how do you think Ünder will be remembered by the club and its fans?
This is a weird one. I feel like he still shows potential, but it kind of gets left at that. I don't know if I can think of another LAFC player where that's kind of been the case. Like, they've always stayed long enough to be like, no, the potential didn't pan out. Like, I feel like if he stayed longer, there was still a good chance it could be good.
Right.
But the stats, like the results aren't there yet. And I agree with the team's decision to not take that gamble. So it's just kind of a weird stub.
It is like, it's not like Lewis O'Brien where I felt like we got to see all of Lewis O'Brien, right? It's like Ünder had flashes where it's like, oh, he's the best player on the field. And then there were games where he disappeared. So it's this weird thing of like, oh, I would have loved to keep him, but in this certain set of stipulations, no. It's like, yeah, I would love to have Carlos Vela on the roster, but he shouldn't be a designated player, right? It's like, it's just this weird thing where we just got to see a guy. Like, it doesn't happen in other sports where you're like, oh yeah, he was good. I wish we got to keep him, but oh well. But I don't think people would be like upset with Ünder unless he's like MLS, unless he does a Kiki Oliveira.
Upset with him?
Yeah.
For what? Leaving?
No, I don't know. Sometimes people have like negative feelings
not being
towards
good enough?
DPs. Yeah. Like he didn't pan out or whatever.
No, yeah, it feels somewhat neutral.
I have a fondness towards him. I think he's good. I like him.
Well, I think you have to look at it from the perspective of his entire career. Like, this happens to him. He shows up to a place, you go, wow, that guy's pretty good. And then all of a sudden you go, wait, we haven't seen that guy in a while. And then you realize, wait, that guy hasn't played that much. And when he has played, he's been still hit or miss. Oh, you know what? He's just an incredibly talented player that can't put it all together and is not worth the insane amounts of money that people keep paying for him. And unfortunately, right now, that's what's put $25 million as his transfer fee. But really, like, no one's gonna do that. I mean, I don't think teams have gotten smarter. Like, they're just not gonna fall for that. And unfortunately, they're left holding the bag.
I mean, that's sort of what. Oh, go ahead, Darren.
Or put my tin Happy Foot, Sad Foot.
They control the weather hat
on. A Dolo out bucket cap on and say, well, maybe he's just another example of our team and staff not being able to figure out the way to orient the team and the game plan around a very talented player.
The team around Cengiz Ünder.
He's the next Giroud, right? He's very talented, but we couldn't figure out a way to utilize his strengths on the field.
I mean, Denny Bwanga didn't have wasn't Denny Bwanga until his second season, but he still made a bigger impact on the team than Cengiz Ünder has made in his half a year with us, right? Denny Bwanga, you could tell, could be MVP potential. He just wasn't finishing. And we've seen that from Denny Bwanga a bunch of times. Cengiz Ünder
there's times you don't know he's on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well,
maybe I'll turn my hat inside out again. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Available now at happyfootsadfootpod.com. Finally, while most of us are busy looking forward to our game in 2 weeks against the Chelsea Blues, we do have one that means something in just a couple of days. And that brings us to our final storyline of the week, which is this. Is Sporting Kansas City any better than last time? Way back in March, we defeated Kansas City 2-0 at an away game in their home that I have honestly zero memory of. I don't remember it at all. They currently sit 12th in the West with 16 points and a record of 4 wins, 4 draws, and 8 losses. Vince, has anything changed about Kansas City since we last played them? How do you think we'll match up against them this game?
They fired their coach. Yeah, they fired Peter Vermees, who had been there like forever. I mean, I honestly can't. He was even a player there. I can't even remember like Kansas City not having Peter Vermees somewhere around that team. And they probably should have moved on from Peter maybe a couple seasons ago. Like the team really needed refreshed. And I think when we played them, it was one of the like kind of moments where it was like, yeah, guys, this just isn't working. I think in our game, I was looking at the stats. They crossed the ball like 40 times. 40 times is the sign that your team has zero ideas. You're like, okay, so we have the ball and wow, LAFC is all in the box. Maybe if we just kick it towards there, we can figure something out. Cause like, we don't want to go in there. We don't want to have to try to get through them. But if we play it in there, maybe we'll just get lucky. And it was time to move on since they have brought actually in another former player, Cengiz Ünder. And generally what happens in these situations when a team is as bad as KC was, and a kind of caretaker comes in, is he basically says like, let's just simplify things. And over the past couple matches, oddly enough, they've had less possession because I think that he's basically said, and they're undefeated in the last 4 matches. They're unbeaten. I think he's gone in there and said, guys, let's do the simple things. 3 of those
are draws, just to be clear.
3 of those are draws. Yeah. I mean, they're still not great, but what I think he's saying is like, let's do the simple things better. Let's defend better. Let's be more compact. Let's not worry so much about possession. Let's try to capitalize on mistakes and let's just not make mistakes of our own. And then honestly, some other players have, since Peter Vermees is gone, and maybe it was the coach or the system or just things weren't working. Like they've gotten better. Jovic all of a sudden has 9 goals. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah. So he's up there and
he loves scoring against us.
He does love scoring against us, but I still think that they're a team very much that doesn't know what is coming next. Right now, Cengiz Ünder has just been brought in to make it not embarrassing and see what he can make out of these parts. But I think they're going to have another rebuild on their hands. They've got a lot of work to do. So I would expect them to come in, especially looking at their possession numbers, and sit behind the ball and say to LAFC, well, try to break us down, try to beat us that way. So I think it's going to be one of those games.
Darren, this isn't true of any of the 3 of us, but a lot of fans might be looking past this game. Can you give them 3 reasons why this game is important to pay attention to?
Yes. First reason is these guys are blue, so we get some practice against a team that wears blue.
Ooh,
that's important leading up to Chelsea.
That's number 1.
Muscle memory.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Aw.
No, you got two more.
You started so
We
strong.
got two more.
You started so
You
strong.
did it
Okay,
short form
okay.
improv. You can do two more.
That was a bit, guys. I do have two. This is a game we should be able to win. So I think it's a good way to ease back into the regular season to like touch grass a little bit. I don't know. We're playing at BMO, right? Okay, grass, not turf.
Mhm.
So we can touch grass
The Mexican
literally
media
and
was not aware of
figuratively.
that, but yes.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys saw that, but a Mexican journalist did say that LAFC would have the advantage in the game only because they play on artificial grass. I don't know if he understood the situation there.
No. Yeah. So
Although
I
when
think it's a good-
Delgado did his Spider-Man celebration, it certainly seemed like
A little dry. A little dry.
Yeah.
yeah. So we're kind of in the clouds right now. I think it will be helpful to like at least have a game to kind of reset and like be like, okay, here's normal, and then gear back up for Chelsea. Like I just think schedule wise, it's a good way to ride the wave and not skip that. Like take that next step with the team. And third, I guess it's pretty similar to number two, but like we should be looking out for the good things that we've been looking out for a while now to like kick into high gear. Giroud put in the best performance he's put in so far in that last match. What's going to happen now? Like, is that going to keep going? Is that going to keep getting better? Like, how much better are we now from that confidence boost and that experience in a game with lower stakes than the next one in the actual Club World Cup? Like, I don't know. I think it's valuable to be able to see where we're at without it being like, and this is the game where it all matters.
I do think the first one was more important, though. I think that was the most important of all.
Yeah, that is the most important. If I in an ideal world, you asked me for the one most important reason, and I gave you that one.
I'll say this. We talked about a lot of really interesting stuff in this storylines, and it's so nice for us, I think, that we're not just going into this middle of the summer period where nothing fucking matters, right? Where we talk about, is the team good each week? Like, we have some cool, interesting stuff to talk about for a little bit, and I'm really excited. Like, we've never gotten to talk about this shit or these teams, so it'll be fun to do this for the next couple weeks. And it's normally a fucking nightmare to talk to you guys. When we come back, we're gonna update the list.
And we're back. During the offseason, we did a series of key bump episodes to help hold ourselves over till the season started. And the last one established a new fixture of the Happy Foot, Sad Foot cinematic universe, and that is the list. Enough time has now passed that it's important we take a look back at the list and make sure it's up to date. Do we need to add new people to the list? Has anyone somehow redeemed themselves and found a way off of the list? Find out in a segment I already told you the name of just now.
So, to be clear, the list is a list of enemies of the pod, right?
Yes.
It's not enemies of LAFC. It's enemies of the podcast. Is that correct?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You would think that in an intro to a segment, I would explain the premise of the thing. No.
Well, it's more fun to say the list, and now everyone's on the same page. We never have to explain it again. Should we go over the current list and see if anyone has
Absolutely.
any?
Yeah.
We'll see if any of us have any. We want to take any of these names off. I'll read through them all right away.
Yes. And there's also, we'll pause there. There are some honorable mentions from last time, and there's also a frenemy list that I can explain. Okay. Number one on the list, of course, is heel of the foot, Jeff Talk.
Keep them on the list.
Number two,
number
Alexi
one with a
Lawless.
bullet.
Number two is Alexi Lawless. I would say inspirational to starting the podcast in the first place. His existence on the list that we didn't even know was a thing yet is kind of why we're here. Number three is Ricky Puig.
Of course.
Does he get
And
some
number
kind of injury like dispensation?
Good question. Let's discuss. Number four, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Number five, Ted Uncle.
R.I.P.
Number six, the MLS Disciplinary Committee, who has still not yet told us what Bruce Arena did. Number seven, Andrew Weeby's ankles. Number eight, and finally, influencers we've never heard of on the Jumbotron.
Great.
That is
It's a really strong
solid
list. That's hard to
It's a
break into that list.
I don't know if it's airtight, but it's very strong.
I would say the reason We didn't let anything on the list unless we all agreed it should be on the list.
Right.
And I think
this is consensus.
We need to make sure that the list, we don't put anything wishy-washy that we just sort of dislike or one person really hates. We all have to agree that it should be on the list, right?
Yes.
I'm fine with that list as is. I don't think we need to lose anything on that list.
We never said that there's a maximum
I don't want to lose
number
anything.
of people on the list.
My only stipulation is Ricky Puig is hurt, and I just feel like you get this kind of this long-term injury slot. I feel like he should just be adjacent to the list for a little bit.
I
and
would
something
piss
else should take
on his
place.
grave. I would gladly piss on the man's grave.
I'm fine with the list having an injury reserve list within the list. It doesn't. You are still technically on the list.
Yeah.
You can be injured from the starting lineup of the list.
Yeah. Once you come back, you're right back on it.
Yeah.
He's not a starter on the list if he's injured.
Because he's a designated player for the list that's gotten injured. So yeah, well, he's on the injured reserve list.
Yeah. So which opens up a slot.
Yeah. So that's why we got to do this. We have to talk through this.
Well, there's no finite number. The list keeps
That's
going.
true.
Right?
It could be
That's
100
true.
people.
I'm actually surprised we only have 8.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't like a lot of things.
There's more than 8 in our hearts. We know that.
I have a pitch for the list that I think we've talked about on a podcast and said we should put them on the list.
Okay.
And I want to know if you guys still think they should be on the list. Maximiliano Falcone of Inter Miami. Do you remember the big guy with all the big hair that was fighting with Nathan Ordaz that we fucking hated? He got Nathan Ordaz that card, and then he gave him shit the next game, and he just was a little piece of shit, and we decided we hated him.
Yes.
I think Falcone from Inter Miami, because of just how much you fucking pissed us off, and they knocked us out of the Champions Cup, I think he's on the list. But I don't know, does he rise to the level of these other people?
So I can say I legitimately have not thought about him since those games, whereas a lot of these people on these lists I have.
Have you listened to Coheed and Cambria since then?
I can't.
I can't.
I start now.
But if we play Inter Miami again, do you think you'll be furious at the sight of him?
Probably. Although
I will.
There's a very real chance he would not be on Inter Miami by that time. He doesn't he's like a fictional character. I don't even think he's real.
Don't waste your breath element to this.
Yeah.
No, Vince is right. He does seem like a Maurice Skelly, not Maurice Skelly, who did Where the Wild Things Are. Like it feels like it feels like a character.
Maurice Sendak?
Maurice Sendak.
No, that's Giving Tree. Did he do both?
He did both, I think.
Did he do both? Well, you know what I mean. That style of drawing from Where the Wild Things Are, where it's like he looks like he belongs in that universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
He might just go back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maurice Sendak.
So I think what we know then that he's not on the list. I don't think Vince feels as passionately about it still as I do. So Falcone's not making the list.
I think he should be. There is an honorable mention section, which is kind of like an on-deck circle. We should put him in there so that we know to reevaluate him next.
Okay, who else is on that?
I'm so glad you asked, Travis. The honorable mentions currently are Ben Olsen, coach of the Houston Dynamo, who decides to trash the LAFC field every time they play us and blame losses on it. Ryan Rodriguez, who we know from recent memory very well.
He doesn't deserve
a spot on the list.
He doesn't deserve honorable mention. I feel bad for the guy. He's not on LAFC anymore. Well, it must be really hard for him.
He may join the newest addition to the honorable mentions at Inter Miami.
That's true.
There's a very real chance he could be there.
Yeah,
that's true.
Brian Rodriguez on Inter Miami could make it on the list. Honestly, I think infuriating.
He will go there immediately. We won't have to play them again. He'll just be there.
I think he's in a great spot in the honorable mentions right now. He should stay right there.
His face in a pink kit, infuriating. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Diego
every
Chara.
time Messi scores, running up and hugging him. Don't do that.
He'll love that shit. He'll fucking love that shit.
And trying to look at the camera but not look at it.
Isn't he? He's Uruguayan, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So it's really Suarez is his guy.
Yeah, but Messi's everybody's.
Yeah. Messi's everybody's guy. Also, they've now teamed up as corporate overlords of LSM FC or whatever.
Oh, yeah, in Uruguay, yeah.
Oh, true.
Diego Chara is the final person on the honorable mentions list. We also have a frenemy list. This is they're just visiting like in Monopoly. This is Vanny Sartini, John McCarthy, our friends at the Lobbing Scorchers, and Taylor Twellman.
We're really just building out the characters, right? There's lore to the podcast.
Yes, that's right.
When someone makes a wiki of everything we talk about, we'll have to put it on there.
If anybody listening or watching has any questions about any of these people and want us to dive deep, these are people we are fired up about, and we'll go on tirades about it at a moment's notice. So throw it in the comments, and we'll happily oblige.
Anyone else got any pitches for the list?
I have two strong ones, I think. I'm going to go with the strongest one first, because this person recently revealed themselves. And I know that at least one person on this podcast will be 100% with me. A certain Mr. Spectrum.
Mr. Spectrum's on the list. Mr. Spectrum is on. Well, maybe he shouldn't be on the list because Mr. Spectrum, I need Mr. Spectrum.
Oh no, he's gotten to you, Travis. This is how bad it is.
We'll
You've
see.
been Stockholm Syndrome by Mr. Spectrum.
I know. Is Mr. Spectrum going to end up on the frenemy list? That's a travesty.
I'll say we'll know by the end of Sunday night if Mr. Spectrum is on the list or not.
Yes, Travis did get new internet. So the next live stream, we will find out.
I lied about having an at-home business, so they would give me business internet. We'll see how it goes.
Wow.
Did you have to tell them what kind, or you just said, yeah, a business?
Well,
what do you do? You know business things.
I make drugs. Why are you asking?
Why do you need? Man. And I sell them on the dark web. Do you know how much bandwidth you need to use all those fucking VPNs?
Fucking narc. Just give me the internet.
I think Mr. Spectrum maybe is on the list. He's on the list. He's on the list, but if everything works out Sunday, I'm taking him off the list because you know I got to Mr. Spectrum.
I think that makes him an honorable mention for now. I'm not willing to have you toy with the list like that. I hold the list in too high regard.
The list is this is a
sacred space.
So I have to play politics here, Vince. I think you're 100% right that he deserves to be on the list, but I don't think I could put him on because it could be a detriment to my life.
Okay,
I'm
just saying.
If he finds out he's on the list, that could be bad for Travis's internet connection.
Yeah, he was just recently revealed to me. Mr. Spectrum had not known him until just this past weekend, and now I'm just saying he's very close to
Mr.
being
Spectrum,
on the list.
Please make Sunday work, please, Mr. Spectrum.
Mr. Spectrum.
All right, great pitch.
Really solid.
My second one
pick.
is a little more out there, but go with me on this. Double and triple teams. Listen, There's 11 guys on the field. Have some honor. Go 1v1, 11 on 11. Stop double and tripling our man Denny. If you can't defend Denny the way ninjas attack Bruce Lee in his movies, i.e. one by one,
waiting for him to finish,
you don't deserve to be on the field with my man Denny Bouanga. That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't on board, but I think your pitch maybe
it really was. Like, I would say the ratio of proposal to pitch is very wide on this one.
I have one that's Denny Bouanga adjacent as well, and I want to say it and see if it affects either of them.
Okay.
All right. It's possible they both could be on the list. My pitch for what should be on the list is the hard landing that Denny Bouanga takes when he flips. You know, like right when he flips, that brief moment where there's a pause and you could tell his body should keep going forward, but it doesn't. And then he kind of stumbles a little bit, but doesn't. Like that exact moment.
It wasn't always like that, which makes it much more difficult to witness.
And I want to say, one, Denny, you don't have to flip anymore. Big flips, go for it. I know we made a big deal about it. You don't got to do it anymore, my man.
Absolutely. The most climactic flip we could have possibly imagined happened last week.
We're good.
I think we're good.
So I want to put on the list that moment where he lands and we all go, oh, fuck.
Okay, I'm definitely voting for this one, but I'm wondering, is there any way to combine these last two into one centralized concept that really earns that spot? I don't know the answer.
Which is...
anyone that tries to harm Denny Bouanga.
Yeah. Whether it's a player or gravity. Yeah. Or the passage of time. I honestly would say Father Time could be on the list. One, for making the flips scarier, and two, because teams have figured out how to guard Denny Bouanga. Father Time is to blame for both of those things.
I'll tell you, Father Time is definitely on Olivier Giroud's list.
Honestly, put Father Time on the fucking list.
Father
Time's on the list.
Father Time.
And we can
Father
put a
Time's on my
subject.
list outside the scope
I
of
mean,
LAFC.
and he took Giorgio Chiellini from us.
And he took my dead dad. Father Time, you're on the list.
Wow. Now I feel bad for how low it's on the list.
I would say no, but I'm more worried about
not above Lawless, but just
I would put Father Time after Zlatan and before Ted Uncle.
That's absolutely true because we appreciate what Father Time did to Ted Uncle.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are layers. He's got to go on top there.
I am so interested if we remember why Father Time is on the list when we do this in 4 months.
That's true.
I'm running a parenthetical. Effects.
No, don't.
No, it's funnier if we don't remember.
Yeah,
we have to remember why Father Time
I
is on.
already have like an obsession with time that, to me, it's a very general concept that I'll remember, but I'll still be 100% on board. So I don't know if that's a problem, but
I'm happy with this combination that we've come up with.
This is good. Okay. More pitches?
Yeah. Do you have any others?
I
have one more, but I don't think either of you guys will relate. So I don't know if it'll get on the list, but it would be on the list for me, which is the Martin Luther King Boulevard exit on the 110.
Oh, 100%. Oh my God, yes.
It is like if you forget to get off on Flower, the Martin Luther King Boulevard exit is a fucking nightmare. And what happens is on game days, the line to get off starts immediately after it's too late to move over to get off on Flower.
Wait, are you going from north to south?
Yeah.
So
I'm going the
too.
same way as you. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I get off on Flower, then I end up going around the stadium and end up in a situation where I can't turn left into the parking lot and I don't know what to do. And that sucks too.
I'll tell you what I do. You get off on Flower. Flower is the one that's before, right? On you, it's like by USC, correct?
Yes.
So you get off by USC. One, there's an offsite parking garage right there that's pretty cheap. I shouldn't be telling people this, but there's like a USC lot that's great. The first right you take. Or you get off, you go past the intersection, it's the first right you take. And then second, you go and you have to make sure you bully your way into the right lane and they'll shuttle you into like the far side and you come in on the, like by Exposition Park over there.
Oh.
So you have to follow parallel to the stadium. You'll merge on and you have to make sure that you're in the right lane or they won't let you merge, but they'll let you in kind of by Christmas tree lane.
Got it. Okay. So we're even on driving advice on the podcast.
But so Martin Luther King Boulevard, Vince, I don't think you have experience with Martin Luther King Boulevard.
So when you come from south to north, it is still annoying, but not as bad because I definitely know and have seen that. And
it's tough for consensus.
Yeah, it's very different. Also, because we're fancy and we have press credentials, I have actually now started getting off an exit even earlier, and then turning on Hoover and then just going straight into the lot. So not even having to turn into the lot. And that is the pro move.
Oh, and there's a light there.
Whoa.
That's great. That's great. I know I should start doing that actually. Go past and do that.
Maybe
Wait,
go
that's what I'm
past
talking about.
the Vernon.
Is that where the Honda dealer is?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Is I end up turning left onto Hoover and then they won't let me turn left into the parking lot.
No, it's straight shot. It's straight across the street. No.
Oh yeah, if you're coming from the south.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is if you're coming from the north, go past Martin Luther King to Vernon. And then go over to Hoover, turn right on Hoover, and then you'll just be on Hoover. And you just
This
go right in.
is the most helpful advice we've ever given on
this. Is amazing. Can you believe this came out of the list?
I do think Martin Luther King Boulevard deserves to be an honorable mention, right? Martin Luther King Boulevard exit.
We'll keep tabs on Martin Luther King Boulevard, especially after we try out this new advice.
I just don't want to be associated with putting something called Martin Luther King.
It's true.
On
it's
any
a tough
kind of
one.
list.
That's definitely a tough one.
I literally have the word Boulevard bolded on my thing, so I make sure to say Boulevard.
My next proposal for those is
Martin Luther King.
Just say that stadium exit off the 110. We'll call it that.
Three guys have a podcast long enough, they start complaining about Martin Luther King.
Jesus Christ.
All right, those are my pitches. Do we have other ones?
As king of the casuals here, a man of the people, I feel like I should bring up some of the submissions that we have the list channel on our patron only Discord.
Oh, give us
over time, many people just throw things on the list.
Give us maybe your three favorite from that, because
Some
I see that we have a
highlights
bunch.
Yes, one of my favorites is from Jeff Todrick. It is 4 inches of snow. Which I would say we could broaden to any weather.
I would say I don't want to put 4 inches of snow on the list because I think 4 inches of snow is beautiful. I think playing a game of soccer in 4 inches of snow is on the list.
Of course.
But I would say that
4 inches of snow is average, right? 4 inches of anything is average.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, I'm not putting that on the list, in my opinion, because watching other teams play in 4 inches of snow is really fun.
That's true.
It's literally like the one time we had to do it, I don't like. But 4 inches of snow in general, I think I would love 4 inches of snow all the time.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. That one's not on. You know what? I want to try to, in favor of getting more of these out there, we're going to do some lightning rounds from the Discord.
So ones you don't think will be on.
Yeah, you can just pass right away if you think so. This one's going to be impossible to get consensus. Vince not saying I love you at the end of each episode.
On the list.
Benitez. That's a second vote for me and Dead on the Vine.
Fucking babies.
Number 2, everyone who wore Miami/Messi merch to the Miami game. I feel like it's too broad of a problem beyond our world to claim it.
But
I have more of a problem.
I'm okay with. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a problem with like Miami merch elsewhere. I have a problem with like kids buying the Messi Miami jersey and never watching a single Major League Soccer game. But like at the game is the one place where I'm like, that's okay. You're going to see the guy. He specified
the Miami game. The problem is Messi merch at the non-Miami games.
Kids are fine. Kids are fine. Kids can wear my Messi jersey, whatever, never watch soccer games. Grown-ass adults.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's okay for Messi fans to be at a game that Messi is playing.
Yes.
But if I saw you the week before in an LAFC jersey,
that's a problem.
You're on the list.
Yes. But Darren,
I don't know how big of an
Darren,
issue this is.
Darren's addendum of people wearing Miami merch to games that Miami is not in is potentially.
I
feel like it's pretty rare. They do still sell it outside the stadium often.
Yeah, they do.
The one time I ever saw anyone
actually
buy a jersey, speaking of the MLK Boulevard exit, you know how there's people like, because you're stopped for so long, people are just literally selling bootleg jerseys to the cars. And the only time I've ever seen anyone buy one is when Messi was in town and we were waiting and I saw 2 people buy Messi jerseys. Okay, that's a no, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said Jimmy said Austin fans. I think we have new best podcast friends who are Austin fans. This one's tough
think Austin
for
fans
me.
are fine. I don't.
Also, their team's not good. Just let them be. Be.
I think generally Austinites are refreshingly aware of the issues that plague them. Like they're like, yeah, help us. Like we're at the bottom of this well. We know
there are fan bases I hate much more than Austin, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
LAX Andy proposes the term tactics.
That's too easy.
Okay.
I like the term tactic.
Kim proposes the post. I feel like that was proposed at a time when we were hitting the post a lot more often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I do hate it, but sometimes it helps us. We shouldn't put something on the list that helps us.
Stuff.
Yeah, we don't want. Yeah. Lisa K suggested Seattle's carpet. That's a strong one. Maybe all turf.
Yeah.
I do hate it. I do hate turf, and specifically, I also hate Portland's turf.
Yeah.
What's frustrating is the more you think about it, the more you think about why in 2025 we're still playing games on turf. That starts to get your like anti-capitalist brain. Enraged.
But that's also the reason why it's hard for me to still hate it. It's like, guys, we've been fighting this fight for like 25 years. Like, it's over.
It's like saying we're putting lack of pro rail on there or whatever. It's like I'm tired of this fucking argument. Yeah.
Okay. Brian Schmetzer was proposed by Javier T. With an explanation. I feel like Brian Schmetzer should be on the hate list. That goddamn better than Bob line. Very strong point. And the fact that his style of boring but effective soccer works so well that LAFC decided to employ the same tactics just with better players. That's a strong pitch.
Yeah, but he's like a substitute teacher.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to put him on the honorable mention list. I think he deserves that spot.
Okay. I've never had a problem with him. I've always sort of kind of liked him.
Yeah, I feel like we would like
him on there.
No, what?
Like a frenemy.
Yeah,
list.
Yeah, put him on because Vanny's there too.
Yeah, Vanny and Brian.
Honestly, Vanny, now that he doesn't coach, he's just the friend.
Yeah,
we like
Vanny.
True.
It's true.
Now that he's not coaching,
now we pine for him.
Yeah.
And finally, Joey AF proposes Sweet Caroline.
I think that's a good one. That Sweet Caroline during the game was infuriating.
Yeah,
it was.
And I hate it.
One of the worst moments in club history.
I would argue, I think Sweet Caroline, and I would even branch it out. It doesn't just have to be a BMO. Sweet Caroline anywhere is on the list.
You know what?
I just realized what you were going to do. Okay,
branching
Sweet Caroline,
it out is what killed it for me.
Sweet Caroline at BMO. Sweet Caroline played at BMO. Sweet Caroline played at BMO because we can't get into
You lost my vote, man.
Oh, man.
At BMO, I'm on board with. I will say that's just where I have to draw the line. I'm sorry, I can't. These roots go deep. There's nothing I can do.
All right,
Sweet Caroline at BMO, you have my vote.
Sweet Caroline at BMO, I think, is on the list, right?
Vince?
I just wish more people knew that it belongs at Fenway.
Can I say Sweet Caroline west of the Mississippi?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, isn't it a Seattle song? I'm on board with being mad at that too. Even.
Yeah, I don't.
Seattle does it.
That was why it was an issue. It was because it was like a song they sing for a specific player on the team we were playing.
Oh, well, I still think that sucks. Sweet Caroline west of the Mississippi shouldn't.
I think it's a perfect way to put it.
I like that.
We on the West Coast we sing Mr. Brightside. The Sweet Caroline for millennials.
All right, I think they've got a solid additions to the list.
Yeah,
to all
Father
lists.
Time and Sweet Caroline west of the Mississippi. We're putting that where on the list? Last.
I'm actually going to make a dark horse proposal here.
What?
Andrew Weeby's ankles is not sitting right with me.
Because he's been wearing socks?
He's been wearing socks, and it's I feel like over time, he's become more human.
No, I hate this. It's just because we're only one degree of separation.
He's a sideline reporter now.
You don't want to kick a man when he's down, but his ankles are still under those socks, Darren, and he made us look at those ankles.
Yeah, I saw a post from him on his Instagram this weekend. He was fishing with his son. It was very wholesome. His son caught a fish.
Darren, do not get soft on me. Do not get soft on me.
I don't want to feel like we're just being bullies at a certain point.
We're not being bullies. We're not bullying a man. We're bullying his ankles, Darren.
Yeah, it's a small subsection of his entire being.
All right. You got me for now, but I'm telling you, he's on the chopping block.
The list
Darren,
is not about empathy, Darren.
Think about it,
is about empathy. Empathy for the rest of the world.
No, think about it this way.
Exactly, Darren.
Darren, there's a reason why he's a sideline reporter now. They crop him chest up. Think about it.
I would love a super wide of him. Like, here I am at the center spot in the field. How do you feel like your voice plays tonight?
I can't believe I wasn't at the game that he was at Christmas Tree Lane. I would have done everything in my fucking power to interact with him. I would have done anything I could do to get next to him and say on camera, "Why didn't you wear socks the first year of MLS 360?" And I want to say,
yelling at him like, "Could you not afford them?"
Yeah, literally, I would have become the bad guy immediately, and it's fine. But I'll say that report he did was so annoying because it was like, here's all the great food you could have there, and it was like hot dogs, and it's like there's so much
I'm
good.
Eating a taco.
Yeah, there's so much. Like, didn't mention the birria, didn't mention any of the interesting.
Every time
food
I go
Christmas
back, there's
Tree Lane.
more food options, and they like have like actual like almost permanent stalls. Like, it's incredible.
And he was like, "What do you think about this game? I'm excited."
Yeah.
Cool.
And like, I think the place he went for the hot dogs was a place that also does like full racks of ribs and shit. And he was talking about, or like sandwiches and shit. And he was talking about the fucking hot dogs. I was so mad.
Wow. Now we're bullying him.
Yeah, rightfully so.
I've become the person honking.
It's just because we know the soccer wise guys It's fine. It's fine.
We've got that's our list.
Our list has been changed.
We didn't decide where Sweet Caroline goes, so that's what that was a part of.
Is it?
I would say above that.
Okay, how about we move Andrew Weeby's ankles below influencers we've never heard of on the Jumbotron? We'll put it 10th. We put Sweet Caroline 8th, and I think that's good. We hate the MLS disciplinary committee.
I feel sufficiently appeased.
How about Ted Uncle? Do we still want him 6, even though he is retired since he passed away?
Retirement. He's on the IR with Ricky Pooch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got to make sure we got to make sure he never comes back.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's on notice. Keep him on the list. This is a warning shot, Mr. Uncle. Yeah. But Mr. Spectrum, we love you.
You have until Sunday.
Mr. Spectrum, you don't want to end up like Mr. Uncle.
Yeah, Sunday. There could be this Sunday an addition to the list.
That's
we're
true.
a temporary transfer window.
That's absolutely it. Yes. We will not be doing a segment, but if we find out, we can on the spot add Mr. Spectrum to the list.
And
officially.
that's not the list cannot be added to outside of list segments except in this temporary transfer window of 4 days. Okay. Well, that is our new close the book. Close the list. That's the list. When we come back, we're going to make some bets.
And we're back. Now it's time for a segment called Bet It and Forget It.
Bet it and forget it.
Every week, we end the show with a bet for this week's game. We make an outlandish prediction, something that almost definitely will not happen, but could. Each week, we all put up $5, and if no one hits, the money rolls over to the next week, and eventually, by the time someone's weird prediction comes true, they just might win a good chunk of change. And for the biggest jackpot in Bet It and Forget It history, they have. Last week, Vince bet that only current and former LAFC players would score. Former LAFC choke artist Brian Rodriguez of Club America was the only one to score for them and was able to find the net because everyone decided to let him shoot from right in front of the net and not play defense. He did continue choking during the run of play, as did the rest of his team, and now Vince can take his cash guilt-free. So, Vince, are you ready to claim your prize?
I am.
Sir Vince LaRosa of Sublime's Long Beach.
You're not going to bring me down. I'm taking my whatever $200 or so. You can't bring me down.
Do you accept your reward? Do you accept that reward of 220 American dollars?
Yes.
It is my great honor to now bestow onto you the Bet It and Forget It ceremonial Venmo. Has that Venmo been received?
So much money.
The pool for this week is now $15.
$15.
Wow, $15? Could you guys imagine winning $15?
Eat my ass, you fuck.
Oh my God.
Of course, Travis put Sublime
at this
rules.
Point, I could really
How
use
dare
$15. I just lost a whole bunch.
I have a bet for this week, and I'm coming up with it right now, and I'm very confident in it. And it's this. We're going to see Nips in the post-game show.
Oh.
That means...
Please specify for some listeners.
Actually, no. If anyone shows their nips on the post-game show, I get...
There is an upside and a downside to the way you're phrasing this. The upside is anyone can show their nips and you could get the money. The downside is...
We know our viewers.
They could
call-ins.
score the prerequisite goals. That is the rule by which Danny Two Nips normally comes onto the podcast and shows his nipples.
Yeah.
And he could just decide not to do it, and you don't win the money.
So the rules...
I was going to say the downside is, generally speaking, our callers are not the people we want.
Generally speaking, you're going to see a lot of nipples, and it's just not the kind of situation where it's a comfortable thing to be seeing.
Hide your children.
What did we decide last time? It was we had upped the goal count to 4 when we were scoring.
4 goals in the regular season.
4 goals in the regular season, 3 in the playoffs, correct? Or 3 in cup matches.
Mm-hmm.
Or playoffs.
So that means LAFC will score 4 goals against Kansas City. And that's my bet. Okay. I'm using the Nips as
it's Nips level.
We deserve Nips.
That's your shorthand. That's your shorthand for 4 goals or more.
Just to be clear, if it's anyone's first time listening to the show, there's a man who calls in and he shows us his nipples anytime we score more than 4 goals. We didn't ask for him to do it. He started doing it, and it's important to us now.
It's important to the community of LAFC.
And it will one day be the downfall of our being able to show ads on YouTube.
It's true.
That's true.
Why did this video get demonetized? You're showing nipples. Why do you think? Okay.
See, I'm playing with house money now. I should just go really wild.
You should.
Which means I should go. Which means I should go Giroud hat trick.
Oh my God!
Hell yeah, that's a great.
If there's any game for it,
I mean, why not?
It would be funny if we have to split the $15.
Right?
Yeah.
He scores the 4th goal to get his hat trick.
I mean, that is a good pathway to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what's funny is we wouldn't be splitting the $15 because the way that the $15 works is we each put in $5. So we would be splitting $2.50.
Right.
Or we would be splitting $5. So we would get $2.50.
Right.
That's fine. Okay. This is a modification of my normal French Connection bet. The normal French Connection bet is that there's 2 versions of it. One is Hugo Lloris will get an assist to a goal scored by another French player, or at least French-speaking player, or just any French-to-French goal. Now, of course, the winning goal of last match against Club America was a French Connection goal.
Mm-hmm. Didn't make
Which,
that
by the way, no one has given Giroud enough credit for how beautiful that quick little chip pass was to get Bouanga the goal.
It was a complete accident. It was yes, it 100% was an accident.
I have watched those highlights 100 times.
He tried to settle the ball and he messed up. And Denny Bouanga happened to be running in the right place.
I watched a post-game interview with Bouanga
was like, I'll
who
take
said
that,
he called for it to leave it. He said that they communicated in the moment.
I believe that he left it on purpose. I don't believe that he meant to touch the initial ball that way. I think Giroud had an incredible game. It looked as if he misplayed his first touch, and then as he was about to touch it again, he realized what was happening and stepped out of
it. It would be better to just let Bouanga score.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's possible Bouanga called for it because he did go like this to let him know he can, right? But I think the first touch was unintentional.
Okay.
But I think he played an incredible game.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree.
And he's going to score a hat trick this weekend.
Right. So I'll call my modification the French countryside, which is that there will be a goal where not only will a French player assist a French goal scorer, but the pass leading to it will also be from a French player.
That's so
it'll
funny.
be French to French to French.
Yeah, I don't even think there will be enough French people on the field.
It's a parlay. Parlez-vous français. Parlez-vous français.
Parlez-vous français is what this is called. French countryside. What a terrible name for what this is. Given that was available, oh my God, I'm ashamed.
I mean,
really
we should. Parlez-vous français could be any French connection, honestly.
Travis, you have been nailing naming things. There was something that you named in our text chat that I won't divulge.
It was. Of course, we could say this on the show. It was the Manchester City third kit alternate, which I called the Buka kit. And I think if you want to know why I called it the Buka kit,
just
go look up the Manchester City alternate kit for next year.
And that's how good of a name it is that all you have to do is look at it.
I just like the word too.
Parlez-vous français is will essentially be Lloris to Giroud to Bouanga, but any combination of any 3 French-speaking players,
including Chanot, who we don't know.
We don't know if he'll be active, but he is a French-speaking player.
Keep seeing him in the pregame photos in his outfit, so he's showing up.
He just
isn't
photos
on the
in
roster.
no
outfit.
Oh,
another player we haven't heard from in a while is.
You see the French thirst trap post game?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was just saying, Thiago Holm Tiago Holmes been missing for a while.
Sure.
That's another thing to think about, but not this episode. That's our show. Our theme music is done by the insane team of James Valentine, Nate Walcott, and Louis Palmer. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/happyfootsadfoot. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please, you can hit subscribe or thumbs up and leave a comment. When you leave a comment, that also helps people find it. The more comments we got, the more people can see our videos. And on top of that, if you want to help out the show, the single best way you could do it is become a Patreon over at patreon.com/happyfootsadfoot. If you can't afford our $5 a month, which comes with a whole bunch of perks and a Discord and discounts and a bunch of stuff, the other best way you could help the show is to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, preferably a good review, but reviews, especially new reviews, always help. So please consider giving us a review and, saying something nice about us if you feel like it. All right. That's our show. We'll see you at BMO, baby. I love you. Bye.
I love you. Bye. Vince is waving. He's just waving for anyone who's just listening and not watching.
I don't have to.
Just a simple wave.
I don't know what to say.
Vince
I don't have to say
waving is
shit.
on the list.
I'm $220 richer, baby.
wave.
I'm never
Oh,
coming
you've
back.
changed.
Full of contempt.
You've
I have.
changed.
I don't
audience.
care.
You fucking people.
For shame.